Hello and welcome my friend, and next I am planning to give you information that how to replace in emergency case these Honda Civic cars spare wheel and tire. And now I am talking in this black wheel and tire in here, and how we can replace this emergency wheel with those Honda Civic car tools. And this is interesting thing, and now I will show all steps to you, and especially you beginners and like also women who think that can I replace this my Honda Civic cars this empty wheel and tire like in highway or in my city, this garden and park area. Okay, and next we go forward that where those items are and how I can carefully and in this safe way replace this wheel. And let's continue. Okay, and when we start this our job, we have to go in car's back area and we have to open this car's trunk, and then we need in that job always these gloves, protective gloves. And if you are, especially if you are woman, you have nails maybe, and that's always leather gloves are good set in car area. And like in my case, I have couple of these gloves in here, and we can look at what kind of things I have. Okay, and then what kind of gloves I need in my car. First one, the best one is that if we have leather based gloves like in that one, these are good, and we can purchase this leather base in Home Depot store in USA. And this is the best one, and then there are those plastic and soft these gloves. These are also in fine, but the best one are if you go to Home Depot store and you ask that please give me these thick welders leather gloves, and these are made for welding. And why I like these gloves are this reason that these are very tight and soft leather, and also there is this protection part to my wrist, and when I use that kind of gloves I can always be sure that my fingers are nice and soft, and nails also, no any hurt in here. And especially if you are woman, always install one package of these thick welders gloves in your car's trunk area. This is my best hint in today in that job. Okay, and then when we are really replacing these our wheel and tire with these car tools, we have to open this back areas, that area in here. Okay, and here is really cover what opens in that way, and we can install this cover in like that way that it's like locked in there. And this is good, and then we can look in here, because in Honda cars there is nice soft tool kit. Here are really our tools in here. Here is jack and this crane, and then this jack tool, and another this wheel nut, this tool. And it is easy to take this soft material away, and in here we can see that there is our jack and crane, and there is this our wheel wrench. And also we need that tool when we use that jack, car jack stand. And now we take this part firstly away. This is what we need. And in here we can see our spare wheel and tire. And please check that you have that kind of tire in your Honda Civic car, because in some countries we have to purchase this tire in here, because this is the must. And then when we take that out, there is lock, this nut in here, what we need to open. And this is also trick, and for that job sometimes we need these pliers, and let's go to look at how we open that bolt. Okay, and here is really this wheel lock bolt, and this opens in this direction, and sometimes this bolt can be tight and stuck. Because that bolt can to be tight, that's we need to purchase sometimes from Home Depot store these pliers, because this makes our fingers like 100 times more powerful. And this is true. This tool makes our fingers 100 times stronger, like Superman fingers. And let's go to look at how I open that bolt. Okay, and there is really this my bolt, and sometimes this can be stuck, but if I have these pliers, I adjust this opening area in small, and then I only rotate that in this way, and then this part is easy to open in this way, and rotation goes nicely in that way. And let's look a little bit bigger view in here, and I install my tool in here in that way, and then rotation, and then this bolt opens nicely. And now I open this bolt, and there's really this locking bolt, and next we can lift up this wheel. Okay, and there is really this our wheel, and this is little bit heavy. This weight about 20 pounds, like 10 kilos. And that's we need to little bit drain, and we need our fingers and gloves, because this is little bit difficult task to take out that wheel, because this is heavy, and also I have to lift up that in same way, this way. And this is a little bit tight, but now this wheel comes out in this way, and now I lift that away. But remember that this is a little bit heavy. But now wheel is away. Excellent. Okay, and now there is this our wheel what we have to move in our this broken or this tire and wheel what we are planning to replace. Now it's ready, and then we have to also check that this is not empty, and if this is totally dull and empty, then we have to add in there this air. But in my case this is really tight and in excellent condition. And then we go to open this our second wheel. Okay, and this is our target wheel what we are planning to replace, and now we need to do stoppers for this our wheel and car movement, that we prevent this car movement, because when we are opening these bolts and nuts, this car can move and collapse, and that's we need something inside of this wheel in this side, in here, and also in another side, in this is right side and left side area also, that we prevent and we stop this car movement when we are working with that wheel. And what kind of stuff we need? Okay, and we need now some kind of stopping equipment, and these wooden locks, they are best, and we can purchase these also from Home Depot stores. And then we can use any kind of another tools what we install in like stopping devices, like hammer and rock and bricks, and also if we have like our grandfathers these machine guns clips. This is from Carl Gustav, this machine gun what was in US Army used in Vietnam War. And we can also use that kind of steel and hard parts if you have in your storage or pockets. And that's kind of good stuff we can use. Okay, and then we install these stoppers in these sides in here and in this another side, and when we have this wooden lock, this belongs in here, and in another side I install this Carl Gustav machine guns, this clip in here, in that. Good. Now it's like working well. Excellent. And then when these things are in place, we can open these wheel bolts. Okay, and in this left area we can see this our car's tool package, and here is really this wheel opening tool, and this is normally the most difficult part in our wheel replace, because these bolts are tight and we have difficulties to open those bolts with the standard size this tool. But let's go to look at how we manage to do that, and I also give a couple of hints. And now we can see that my tool is this opening position, but if you are really wise man or wise woman, you can go to visit in Home Depot store and you can purchase like longer head, longer bar, this opening tool, and then you have in physics things based by science 3 times more power when you are like Superman, because these things makes this wheel opening so easy that like kids can open this in this way. And then if you like to be really powerful Superman, you can go again in Home Depot and ask that, hey, please give me like this 3 feet amount, about 1 meter or half meter, 1 feet to 3 feet long steel pipe what is hollow, and we can purchase these pipes in Home Depot. And when we install this part in here in this way, then we have 10 times more power. Really, if we install this extra hollow pipe in here, now we have like 10 times more power, and that means that even 2 years old children can maybe open these bolts. And this is only science. But normally we don't have these things and stuffs that we have to use these standard Honda parts, and then we need only power. And if you are woman who is like Arnold Schwarzenegger with 20 years old, then you can open these bolts within only one hand. And let's go to look at how this happens. Okay, and if you are really bodybuilder woman, like similar power and strength like Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold was 20 years old, then you can install this tool in here, this nut opening tool, in this way, and then you only take your left hand and you move this and bolt opens. So easy. If you are like bodybuilder, then bolts opens in this way so easily. But normally these bolts, they are really tight, and let's go to look at how I open these bolts. Okay, and these bolts are normally very tight, and this is this most difficult part when we are in highway 101 in California in night time, and we have to replace these bolts with our cell phone's light. And that's, we have to install firstly these all bolts in that side, in here, that side, in this way, in here, that we can use our this foot what we need to use. Okay, and we have to install this our tool just in, because this opening direction is that one, we have to install that in this way, and this is the best way, that it is something like in this position, in here, or in maybe that is also, this is good position, because then we can get in here most power, and we can firstly try to use both hands in that way, but this is, if this is too heavy and it is stuck, then we have to use our foot, and it means that in that way. And now we should to have some high quality and hard, like our army boots, US Army or US Marines boots, that we can pull down this our tool in that way. Sneakers are also okay, but use boots or army these boots, and then we can open this in this way. And this is the most difficult part, this wheel bolt opening, because these bolts are normally very tight. And let's go to look closer. If you have any soft material like blanket or old coat or jacket, it is good to install in here, because we have to be in here very low position, and our foot becomes a little bit hurtful, because we work in here about 10 minutes. But let's go to then look these bolts more. Okay, and really when we are opening these bolts, we rotate that our tool so long time that this bolt and nut opens in that way. And this is this bolt, what is this wheel bolt, and we have those in that my car 5 pieces. And when we open these in this first step, when this our wheel is in ground, we only rotate these bolts about 2 turns in that way, that they are a little bit loosened. We don't take all of these bolts away, because if we take all of these 5 bolts away, then this our wheel and car collapse to ground, and it is bad thing, because then this our job stops. And now when all of these my bolts are loosened, we can check that are they movable. Yes, this is, and in one hand this is okay, and that is okay, and that is now those all are loosened. Then my next step is that I have to lift up this my car body up from this ground, and then also check that you have in both sides some clips and locks or wooden bricks in what keeps these 2 wheels in that position. We can use also in some hammer tool in that way, because this is always risk that this car moves, and we can also install handbrake on and gear to 1 or park position in automatic transmission. Okay, and then we take our this jack that we start to lift up this car body. Okay, and then we really need our jack, and there in this central area, there we have this car's jack, and it tells to us that there are specific 4 positions in this car body where we have to place jack underneath in the reinforced area. And let's go to look at what are these reinforced areas, because if we install this our jack this position in some wrong position, then we can damage our our car body, but normally this body is quite durable, that there is no any big risk. But it is always good to install this jack in right position, and before of this jack installation it is always good to check that in what direction, that like pre-training, that when I rotate that in this way, then this jack goes up and in another direction down. This is good to check. And how well this my tool rotates, because in some cars this part can be stuck, and some cars these parts can be like plastic. If you have Mercedes-Benz car, then it is possible that when we lift this crane, your jack can crack and go broken. But this is Honda's parts, and it is made in Rikaki. This is Japanese maker, and I believe that this lasts like about 50 lifting and this unlifting. But this is like only for emergency case. Do not use that regularly, because this is not the professional tool. And if you use these things regularly, then I recommend that you purchase hydraulic jack. It is faster and more durable. But this is good for emergency case. And then we go to search these reinforced areas. What are these markings in here? We can see these things. And let's go to look in that area, these places. Okay, and now we are looking this reinforced area, and like in there are information that we have to find these things, and these things, that how we can find these things is that we have to really go in down in that area, and when we look in that area we can see that there are those specific dents in here, in that area, and this is this reinforced area in front area, and also in rear area we can see, and this place we install this our jack and crane. And now we can see a little bit better there that there is this extra area, and this part really goes in that way, like in central position. And this is this trick, in this way, and now we need to only lift that up in that. I rotate that in this way first in my hand, and I have to get this in contact. And this is normally, this takes a little bit time, but this is good to do like carefully. Now I change that a little bit. Now it looks good. Okay, and now it's in good position. We can see that it is like in central position, and also in here central. And then I can continue this rotation, and then this car body, it start to lift up. Look. Okay, and now I need extra force in here. Okay, good. Okay, and then we really need this extra tool, and there was this my tool kit, and there is second tool in here, this interesting hook tool, and this is this another part what I need, because I had this wheel bolt and then that one bolt, and there is trick that these parts goes like in this way, in hidden trick. And now I have this my tool. This is really strange, but in that way, look, there is hole, shape hole, and this is also shape held like nut, and it goes in that way. Look, and it goes really only in one way. And now we have this emergency tool. This is not the best one, but better than nothing. And then we can to use that tool. Okay, and then I install this my emergency tool in here in that way. That firstly this hook goes through that hole, and then I have to install this my tool in this position, and then I install this my device tool, and then I start to rotate that in like clockwise in this way. And let's look a little bit better that job, that how this works. Okay, and now we have really nice view that how we can lift that up, and now this soft mattress is useful because I have to be in that kind of position, and then I rotate that in this way, and look, wheel is in down, but soon it lifts up, and car body also comes up, and now I check that I have this car stands in another position in this my car. This is really critical that we have this stands in here and these parts. What I had this wooden lock and hammer and then this clip. It's really my rear wheel, and now I install these my things in here and hammer in here in this way, and now I like lock this movement and this wheel. Okay, and now when these another wheels are locked, now I can, without worries, I can lift this my wheel up, and now there is target that I need to lift this wheel about 5 or 2 inches up, and now I rotate that. I keep one hand in here and then I rotate and carefully, and this is a little bit hard and takes time, about a couple of minutes, and carefully. And now look that this my crane comes bigger, and we can look this actually closer that how it becomes bigger. Now we can look that how this crane becomes higher, and same time by my wheel note it comes up. Yeah, now it's in. Now wheel is in up, excellent. And now I stop this my job. Good. And then we can look bigger view, and we can stop this job then when we can install my wheel tool below of that my wheel and tire. Do not insert in here your fingers. And now this my wheel is enough up, and I can take these bolts away. Okay, and now when wheel is up, I can take this my tool, and now I can open these all bolts totally. Like this is first one, and now we have to also check that we don't lose these bolts, and that's especially in night time. Install these bolts in carefully, and now I take all of these bolts away, and I collect these bolts in same position. Okay, and now I have removed all of these bolts, and this is final bolt. Okay, and now bolts are loosened and wheel is also loosened, and then check that your all bolts are in same position. And then, my friend, please install these bolts in clean place, because these bolts are sensitive and they are expensive, and these cost about $20 per piece. These are very high quality bolts, and you can install, I recommend that if you have some another letter, that you install all of these like in that way. Do not drop these bolts in ground, because if sand goes inside these holes, then we have difficulties to install these bolts back and please keep these bolts clean and no any sand inside, and if sand goes inside, then you have to clean those really carefully. This is sensitive job, and these bolts are really critical parts in our car safety things, and that's be sure that all bolts are in that way. Okay, and then our next step is to take out this old wheel, and for that job it is good that we use these gloves, and because this is heavy job and I need now to lift up a little bit this wheel up, and same time I have to move that away, and it happens in that way, that we go in this position and then we carefully in both hands we lift that little bit up, and same time we move that away, and then we move that old wheel in away, and there is this our brake disc, and then we can install new wheel back. Okay, and then I give good hint to you, because this new wheel installation back is a little bit heavy, and especially if we are in night time, we are difficulties to install these bolts to these wheel holes, and it is good that if we have possibility that we rotate these bolts in up position. Now it's a little bit difficult because I have in gear is on, but now we have to check that in what position these bolts are. And now I will do to you basic extra info thing, that I have this yellow color, and I paint that area and also small lines in here, that this is now our target bolt, what in optimal situation is in up phase in here. And now I go to release my gear, that I can little bit rotate this my wheel, and I carefully release my gear, and this gear release is possible because I have those locking parts in my wheel and handbrake on, and now we can see that I can little bit rotate this my brake disc in up in here, and now it's in up phase, and this is easy. This is like target point where we focus this wheel, and now I install this my new wheel in here, and in that area I will do to you, this is like information. Normally I don't do that kind of things, but now this is like our target point in here. I will remove this yellow paint after this work, and now I target this upper bolt hole directly to these back areas, this bolt in here. And now we have both areas what are easy to focus, and let's look at what I do next. Now this job's idea is that when we like pre-set up this bolt and this wheel in same position, this is really easy to install these bolts back, because in some cars these wheels are really heavy, and now I focus in that one, and there is this position, and now I move carefully this my wheel in here in this way, and then if I am really lucky I can see that there are those bolts, then I only little bit lift up this my wheel, and now we are in just in right position. Look, Now these up bolts are in same way, and when we do in that way, this wheel installation is much easier. And if you are like beginners, you can purchase this pencil solid marker from internet or this ebay.com, and you can mark these things also in that way. And then this wheel installation is easier. And next part is my job is to lift this wheel totally back in position. I only press that in this way. Good. And then I take this my clean bolts, and now I have to clean all of these bolts head, these threads, using my gloves. These parts must be really clean, and this is important thing. Then when you install this wheel bolts back, be sure that these threads and these rails are clean, and also this inside area. And then we rotate firstly these bolts using our fingers in that way, all 5. And now when they are positioned, I take my tool and I like to rotate, and you can use like 2 fingers in that way. And firstly in up and then down in here. And let's take a little bit bigger view. And now we have nice bigger view that we can look at how I rotate like 2 fingers and then in this way. And if we use only 2 fingers, it is like light force. And when it stops, we know that now I have to change this bolt. Good. And in this way, nice. And then that one again, and only fifth bolt is left. Okay, and now when this wheel is up, it is enough that we only little bit tight these bolts in this way. Only one hand. And note now that this wheel is like in up, and I have to lift down and drop down this my wheel, and it happens so that I take this my tool away, and then I work next this my jack. Okay, and now I have to lift down this my wheel, and that's I install this my tool now in this hole again, and now I have to rotate this anti-clockwise. And when I rotate, I all time check that how this my wheel is moving down, and then I can rotate that so long that this my crane becomes free in here. It takes like little bit time that I rotate that. At the same time we can check also this wheel. Lift down this crane. It is good to all time check that how this our wheel is going down, because there can be happen some things, but now everything is going nicely. And then we check that car is not moving. Really excellent. And then I rotate that so long that this my crane becomes like free. And then I have to rotate this my crane in like very thin part, and in this way. Okay, good. And now we have final job left. And final job is that I have to tight and install this my bolts so tight then I could to do carefully. And let's go to look closer. And now when wheel is in ground, I take this my tool, and now I have to rotate firstly in this up position and then in another side also. First in here, second in here, third in here, fourth and fifth and first in and back this road. This is like second, and then this is third. And when I install in another directions, then this wheel goes nicely in same plane in there. And almost same amount in all bolts. But we can feel that how easily when we check our force. Because this force is now important, that same amount force in all bolts. And now we can see that now it becomes difficult to move these bolts, and that's we have to start to use our foot and feet. And how this happens? Okay, this happens really so that when I take this tool in here, and now this tight position, it is like clockwise in here. And now I have to start to use my foot so that firstly I install this in here, and then I press that in down in this way. And then we can see that now I have like 4 times more force. In here again I install this my tool in another side, and again I use my foot, and about same time, and I rotate that my tool in here so long, then I can press this in one foot in that way. And it is good to, this is like emergency thing, and that's, it is good to rotate those so long, then I can easily do with my feet and in that way. And do not jump to this tool, because there is of course risk that we can break these bolts. That only one foot it is good, and we can also check in our hands that how much this move, and then this bolts movement suddenly stops, and we can think that now these bolts are enough good. And this is this job's end, and then we have to drive in this our wheel store, and we have to tighten these bolts using torch French tool in some service station. Okay, and here is really this torch French tool, and this is specific tool where we can set up in here 100 Newton meters, or this it is 70 lbf foot, this force. Like 100 Newton meters is this force. I rotate that, and the scale goes to this 100 in that way. Now we can see that there is 100 Newton meters in there, the scale, and this means that when I install this tool, it is 19 millimeter socket, and when this tool says click, it means that now there is 100 Newton meters this tight. And now we can see that this was okay, and then I check also that one. This is loosened, but now click. Click means that there is 100 Newton meters. And then we go forward, and I take this socket away. I go through all of these my bolts, and 100 Newton meters is this good force. As we can see, it is a little bit loosened, and now these all bolts are in 100 Newton meters force, and this is good amount for this Honda Civic bolts. And if there is something specific, this torch French amount in your Honda Civic, use that one. Okay, and this was this information, and in that way we can replace these our cars wheels and bolts, and this is like using these Honda Civic original tools in car tools. Okay, thank you my friend for watching.